Hey, listen here, y'all. Welcome over here to the show we got for y'all. As you can see, my good buddy Russo up there. Tell you what, he's got them long locks going on right now. Tell you what, he looks like Joe Dirt's second cousin, Little Muddy. Little Muddy Buddy, that's his name. Tell you what, he gets out there and he wrestles with them pigs in the pig pen. He goes out there wrangling them horses. Tell you what, and you should see he does the artificial insemination for them horses too by himself, and he doesn't use no gloves. I tell you what.
That's why I got my good friend over there, Cashley Kelly, on the bottom. He's actually the stunt, for them horses,
so they know what's voice. It's not working. You sound like a nerd. Yeah. You don't sound like a country guy when you talk. All right. You need some practice. You live down there in Texas, tell you what. And you know what? I heard something about Texas. They say ain't nothing down there in Texas but steers and queers. That's what they say. And let me tell you something.
Say the Q word.
Well, I just said it, by God. I just said it. And let me tell you something. All the steers have left.
So what you're saying, all that's left is the Queens minus the N plus the R.
Yeah, that right there is what I'm saying. Tell you what,
since I went country for today's Truth Will Set You Free, a little Joe Dirt style. That's why Cashley Kelly is with us wearing the Elizabeth Taylor filter where he doesn't look black because I can't be around a black person. So that's that.
What it is. That's what it is.
I wasn't going with you're going with the Joe Dirt. I thought you were transitioning, Russo. So
Joe Dirt likes transmissions. Right? The dog's upside down. All right, we started completely off the rails to start because Cash was pretending to be white, which pretty much encompasses the last 10 years for him. All right, in this episode of Truth Will Set You Free, episode 180, we got a lot to talk about. Corey cannot make it. He's busy working for the man on this episode, which I find ironic for somebody that believes in communism, but whatever. We love Corey. Skip him. We're going to talk about the Hawk Newsom's post regarding the fact that black on black crime in Chicago is actually not the issue. It's not black on black. It's actually a mysteriously shady figures, whatever, probably a three-letter agency.
That's real.
Sure it is. Okay. Let's see what else. Pro-Hamas protests, college campuses, talking, and truly it's become anti-Jewish. The Garcia Haney fight. And then the protester that lit himself on fire in front of the Trump trial. So that's about it. He did pass away, by the way. People kept saying he was Republican and a Trumper. He was not, to be very clear. Anyways, like this video, share this video, do all the things with this. Kelly hates that. It drives the ladies crazy. If you guys love when I do like this video, share this video, do all the things with this video, put a comment in there. Let me know that you like it. And if you don't like it, I don't effing care. All right. Casey, what's crapping in?
Just watching Congress tear apart our country and give the money to other countries. It's wonderful. It's great.
Viva Ukraine! Cash, what's happening?
You said Spanish and with a Russian. You do a really good Russian accent. That's true.
I
really
do.
Good. Yeah, that was pretty good. That was
be careful.
That was good.
Yeah.
People already think I'm a Russian plant. So
yeah, I was just gonna say he's a Russian asset.
Oh. I never heard that one.
I put the asset in Russian. Cash, go ahead. What's going on in your world?
Nothing. Just been adulting all day today. I've been creating content, doing my best to anyway, because this news has been horrible. It's been a horrible news day. It hasn't been good for me at all. But I got one. Stephen A. Smith. It was great. It was gold because at first when I'm watching it, I'm yelling at him. I'm like, "What are you doing, Stephen A. Smith? You're kissing the ring." And then I see how he transitioned. He pivoted. Let me tell you why I said what I said. And then I made the whole reel about it. And it was amazing. It was a really good reel. I hope
so. It was actually good because I know because he's been doing some decent takes lately. So
he apologized. He basically was kissing the ring, but he still spit them facts. He was like,
okay,
bro, he went in. I'm talking about it was great. But I see how he tried to bash Trump a little bit. The president Trump, who said Barack Obama was born in Kenya, and then he's sitting doing all these things, and I'm like, I see what you're doing there. And it looked like he's reading off a teleprompter. I'm like, yo, they got my man like this. They got his balls like, yeah, and they're squeezing them, and they're like, you're gonna say what we want you to say. And he's like, look, I ain't gonna say what you want me to say. He's like, yeah, you're gonna say what we want you to say, but you can put your spin on it. That's what happened with Stephen A. Smith today, in my opinion. But
just check out the reel. It was really good. He hit them facts. Well, I'm talking about. It was great.
I gotta watch it. I think he's funny. I think I have massive problems with him, but I think that some of the times he has really interesting takes, and he is great at his craft. He is entertaining. He gets people watching. He's also friends with Hannity. He's friends with people on the. I mean, Hannity's. He's friends with people on the right. He's friends with people on the left. He's interesting, and when he talks, he gets into it. I just like his theatrics.
I love it. I love it. Stephen A. Smith. You got my respect still, dog. Even though they made you, kiss the ring just a bit, you did that. You did.
When you were in the joint, you missed how he got totally trolled for his non-existent basketball career, because he talks about how he was this great college basketball player, and then finally, like, I don't remember who just absolutely rolled him, but they were like, we looked it up. We see him in a jersey in one photo, and according to the statistics of his high school career, he played 2 minutes and had one basket. Like,
right.
Totally.
Y'all misinterpreted what he was saying. Listen, I never said that I played basketball for the college. I said that when I was in college, I played basketball.
That was good. It's funny. You guys are about the same height, too. Okay.
Oh, man, I almost did it again. God, keep working on me so I don't say the things that I shouldn't say. Keep working on me, God. I'm trying.
I wanted to hear Corey's opinion on the guy that lit himself on fire as well, but we're not going to hear it. All right, let's get into it. We'll also what do we want to give updates? There's so many things to talk about. 2 minutes and one basket averages 1 point a minute, which is pretty good. No. But he played multiple games and he'd only played for like whatever it was a 1.5 PPG, whatever. Can you guys actually share this video out? Hit the like button, do something. Let's get the algorithm going. What else?
You just stop. Just stop. Okay. If you're gonna say it right. Say it right. Hey, everybody that's watching, our loyal crowd of people that is now family to us, who supports us. Can you please do us the kind gesture of hitting the like button right now for this video? And if you feel even more kind, please share this video out. Russo just came and embarrassed himself wearing tracks in his hair so that y'all can like this video and share this video. So please like this video, share this video, do all the things with this video. In the words of Russo.
Can I ask you a question? Does this remind you of Lele in prison?
You mean Lele?
Whatever. The handlebars? Did you get the handlebars in prison?
You know what's weird? You know what's really ironic? It's pretty crazy, right? Is I went to prison and didn't have any kind of moment like that. Yet you live it every day in the real world. Go to prison.
Whatever. These smell funny. Tell your hair smells funny. All right. We are completely off the rails tonight.
We are family, Kim. Kim, especially you. You already know. We love you.
Kim Whit. All right. What are we talking about first? I'm completely confused where we are. Let's go on a light subject. Let's start with the boxing. Because I do think it's interesting because there's, some Diddy implications, and somebody brought something up in one of the posts or on one of my posts earlier, like what the hell happened to Diddy Epstein and how we were going to have all this stuff. And look, like that, it's gone. I think that's interesting, which I love the fact that Ryan Garcia, if anybody is a boxing fan still like I am, the fight this last weekend was fantastic. I won $150 on it because I bet around $50. The Garcia literally made himself out to be a nut. I mean, I think he has a little bit of a nut job, but made himself up to be a nut job the last calendar year, drinking, smoking, doing all these things. And his odds went from what would have been probably an even fight because Haney was undefeated and Garcia only had one loss and he was much more powerful puncher. And he pretty much faked it. This is what he's saying all year. He bet $2 million on himself with 5-1 odds and walked away with $12 million. Nice. On top of that, he made $30 million already, plus $30 to $60 million from the fight. So he was trolling everybody.
So you mean he came out and put out a whole bunch of misinformation and made people believe all kind of crazy stuff and only did it because he was trying to get money?
Weird. I wonder who else does that.
Alex Jones. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was gonna say the media. But no, in the end, if you paid attention to some of the stuff he talks about at the end, he, thank God he's big Christian that also swears a whole bunch, but that's fine. We all do that.
Yeah, stop judging, bro.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I like him. I like him a lot. But the thing that he was trying to expose, because Haney has a bunch of photos and he was buddies with Diddy, and that's how he got real vicious on him, and he kept talking shit and kept saying all these bad things. And then at the end, he goes, I did this for the kids. And he's saying that his next big fight is to save children. So, I mean, you know what? I love the platform that he's put himself on. I've been following him since he was 18 years old. He's 25 now, has the fastest hands you have ever seen in your life. Makes Mayweather looks like he's standing still. Mayweather's still a better boxer.
Not true, but okay. I understand.
Did you ever watch the old Ryan Garcia videos when he was 18?
Watch the old Mayweather videos?
It's different. Mayweather's quicker. Quicker. Garcia's hands are the fastest hands in the history of boxing. I'll say that immediately. There is no hands faster than his.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, moving forward.
You're a WWE watcher. You don't even know what real fighting is.
Oh, I know what real fighting is because you're looking at a real fighter, baby. Don't need no ring. It's right there in them streets, dog. Undefeated. Never lost a fight, ever. And I fought people twice your size, Russo. And you're really not that big. You're just tall. See, I look at my face right now. Look.
Stone cold. God, it looks lifeless.
This is my wrestling face. Look.
Jeanette wants to know what's up with you, Casey.
Not much. Just boxing is all rigged, so I don't really care. I'll entertain it, but.
So did you end up watching it with me, or did you fall fully asleep?
No, I told you I fell asleep. I was out.
Did you rewatch it?
No.
So that was the other thing. The referee was completely talking about crooked. That's the problem. That's why people hate boxing. The ref was holding up the dude. He was literally holding the guy up because everybody's making jokes. Even Stephen A. Smith had a great take on this. He's like, this is the worst ref I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's because if he would have went down in that round, he would have lost the money.
Well, he lost the money either way. They were doing everything to steal the fight from Ryan Garcia, and he still won. Like, I've never seen
picture with Ryan Garcia. He's like that. Yeah, that's going to be in every single Mexican person's garage when they go in their man cave. It's going to be in there. You know what I'm saying? Dude on the floor, like looking stunned. Oh man, that's a great picture.
Before we get too into it, we actually had a photo shoot here earlier. We talked to some of these guys that actually live in Mexico, the company, and they were telling us about some of the ranchers they know on the southern border, and the fact that there's parts of the border that, I mean, first off, the people that are paid to protect us are pretty much told they're not allowed to do anything. So they know some people in that sense. And then the people that own these ranches, fun story, they literally were given us, because all their locks and doors kept getting broken. The cartels came in and gave them locks and doors and said, use these so we don't have to break yours. Literally. And they had no choice. So they put them on there. And then on top of it,
very nice of them, though.
That's very nice. The border was well, I think they just don't want people getting shot, and they know it's Texas, so they know that there might be some whatever. So the border has the wall, and it had some gaps that are consistently patrolled. Ironically enough, there's a point every day or every set amount of time where the guards leave and open the gates and people flow in. They see this on a regular basis. So if you're wondering how it's happening, this is a coordinated effort at the border.
I've been said this to people when I came home. Everybody thinks that, oh, the cartel is just bringing drugs over here by sending people across the border and running across the Rio Grande. It ain't that. They pay Border Patrol agents $60,000 per load. That's how the drugs come over here. And I know this because I was locked up with people who did this for a living and told me how they got the drugs over here. It's really, it's messed up. There's corruption on every level.
All right, real quick, let's tell it, because I know you talked about it before you came on the show. Tell people after the show where they can find us, because it is the night where we discuss American-made products in the Freedom Box. So tell people where to find us.
You can find me in St. Louis rolling no dubs.
Smoking no dub, blowing up like Cocoa Puffs, sipping bud. Sorry, that's my jam. I grew up in the Lou.
That's my jam, bro. Hey, man, I didn't know you was a Nelly fan, dog. That's dope. So, no, you can find us in Zoom. All right, we're going to be having a Zoom meeting after this. For anybody who said that they were interested, and I've reached out to you already, we're going to put the link up. You guys can just click the link, join into the Zoom, and join our team, man. Lock arms. All right, we're trying to help you. Also trying to help America by having more people shopping American and buying American, but this is also to help you keep your home safer with the things that you keep inside your home, be more healthy, because it's also a wellness company, and also earn an income if you so choose by telling all you're doing is telling other people about the store. That's it. That's it. There's no gimmick behind it. I'm trying to lock arms with you and build this brand. I need your help. All right. So join us for this Zoom meeting. I would greatly appreciate it. You will not regret it. There's zero risk involved in doing this. You're only making yourself better.
Going zoom, baby. Don't street in the Range Rover. American product. Whatever. I'm done. Okay.
Super baby.
Shut up, Casey. Why are you so judgmental? Casey just hates me because I'm not white.
Shimmy, Cocoa Puff. Listen to it now. Well, can't say that part. Can we? Oh, can we say
I
that?
Can. You can. You go to jail.
Yeah.
Casey's like, what did I get myself into this week? I don't even know.
Nope. Yeah. I'm just here.
What else? I think let's get into another topic.
We've been spending a lot of time just playing. Let's get into the show. Come on.
God, stop fooling. Why are you fooling? All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this video. This is from Hawk Newsom, who I believe is the biggest race baiter in the history of race baiters. And unfortunately, he has so many talents of speaking and leading people, but instead he would rather tell them that their life is unfair because they're black. Cash and I are going to agree and disagree on this one, but here's a video that I wanted to play for you guys.
Who got shot in Chicago this weekend? What's even crazier is that we still not talking about who be doing some of this shit. It ain't the gangs. It ain't just the youngins. Don't you know that when the shit died down, anytime there's a motherfucking truce, a peace treaty anywhere, anytime the shit just slow down for a minute, them motherfuckers is pulling up in the mystery machines. You don't know who I mean by them motherfuckers? That's why it's a mystery, huh? You got to get on that Scooby-Doo quest and figure it out. Who do you think is doing? Who do you think is instigating? Who do you think is... Listen, man. These motherfuckers putting on disguises, man. These motherfuckers just shooting. They just doing drive-bys. And then you think it was the ops. Yeah, it's the real ops. But a lot of us don't really know who the real ops is. I guess we could talk about it. Or maybe we can't. It's crazy that over 40 people got shot in Chicago.
Okay, first off, you can see a couple of the comments on there, which typically his page is full of like, yeah, man, you're right. You're the man. Yeah, exactly. They hate our people. This one, even his own people said, you need something more convincing than that. Now, before you go, Cash, I'll let you go. Do I think that it's possible that a couple of the murders might be inside jobs, truce being broken between gangs because the gangs are infiltrated with people that also are, working for the police and all that stuff? Yes.
Deeper than the police.
I know. It could be a wide range. Do I think that could be a couple of them? Maybe. Yeah. Okay. But for the most part, it's still the fact that you have a group of young people that need, man, they call it truce. They have a truce, a peace treaty. The fact that they are so ridiculously out of their mind that they need a peace treaty in the streets, which is gang life. And I understand that. To not think that there is some level of guilt there is bullshit.
All right. Well, let me say this. All right. It sounds crazy to you because you're not from there. You ain't never experienced it. And this is, I'm being real. All right. There's always going to be needs for peace treaties, bro, because it's just that gang culture is ingrained in Chicago.
I understand that.
And when that happens, it's just like, it's no more crazy than to think about what happened with, say, the Black Panthers. They infiltrated, the CIA infiltrated the Black Panthers. The same thing that happened with Malcolm X. They infiltrated and sent two people that weren't a part of the organization to hit Malcolm. It's the same thing, and it happens more than you. I know it sounds crazy, but this is the truth. Nobody in the hood, when they do have them peace treaties, they sit down and talk, bro. There's times where gangs come together and they're like
mafia.
Yeah, they're like, yo, what's going on, bro? Did y'all hit? What's going? They're like, bro, wasn't us. We don't know who they was. We were all out there, and then these people just pulled up. Don't know who they are. And we know when it's a gang, they're gonna make it known of who did this, and it's known. All right. But sometimes it's not the gangs. Sometimes it's somebody else. I'm not going to make no claims of who it is, but it's other people dressed in a way that you ain't going to know who they are that pulls a hit and tries to kick off a whole nother gang war. Why? Because that's business in Chicago. They lock up countless people for gun crimes, for violent crimes. All right. It's a business. Not saying that there's not crime going on in Chicago without that. That's true. There definitely is crime going on. I used to be a part of that crime. That's true. But when they try to diet down, when they do come together and they're like, look, man, we got to end this, bro. This is getting out of hand. We need to fix this. We need to get our community back together. Something else pops off with people who are not for the peace. They want the violence. And I'm just going to leave that.
Isn't that some of the gangs too? Like I think we're pretending that gangs are civilized. And here's the deal: do they call peace treaties? Absolutely. And I'm not disagreeing with that, because they think that life is a game. That's what. And I think that you would understand that, you being from the gang lifestyle. Like, you have this mentality that's just so rooted in a lack of reality. The only reality is the fact that you can die in 2 days, like, because of the stupid shit you're doing. Now, with all of that said, I agree with you. Not all of it is done by gangs. If it was like 7 people a weekend or 3 people a weekend, but let me be clear, in my beliefs, the out of the 40 murders that last weekend, the predominance of that is still shitty black on black crime because of gang violence.
Disagree. It's not just I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you.
Or Mexican or minority.
How the media
gangs
puts this narrative in people's minds, and then you say it, you repeat it and say it's black on black. It's not black on black. This is people of all different races that are out there in gangs. It's not just black people that are in gangs in Chicago. The gang violence in Chicago is rampant through all ethnicities: white, black, red, yellow, whatever you want to call it. It's rampant through all races. In my gang alone, we have white, we have Puerto Rican, we have Mexican, we have black, and just my gang. All right, it's not a black on black thing. They promote it like that in the media to make it look like Chicago is just full of crazy niggas that just want to kill each other. That's not the truth. It's a whole bunch of people who have a hood mentality, that have a gang culture ingrained in their system because of how they were raised, and it has nothing to do with their color.
But it does not speak for the actual demographic makeup of the country, is what I am saying. Like, you're saying that it's all, and it is. You know what? There's a couple white guys, maybe more Latino.
A whole bunch of Latinos. What you mean a couple?
But okay, so if 12% of the United States of America is African American or black, and 60% of gangs are black, then that's a skewed number. And the bulk of the murders, the actual deaths happening, are actually black lives. So again, we're not.
No,
if you
bro,
look,
that's what's reported. It's not just black lives, bro. This is
look
what I'm out here. I'm out here. I see it on my Facebook feed of people that are shot. Rest in peace to so and so, and they're not black. They're not black.
How
they're
many?
Latino, huh?
Well, okay, Latino and black are the predominance of the gangs.
Okay, but there's
so minority on minority crime. How's that? Is that better?
This is my point. No, this is my point. How about gang violence needs to stop? Not black on black crime. That's not the issue. Crime is the issue. Delete the color. Delete the race out of it. That's not the problem. It's gang violence. That's the problem. It is violence in the streets. That's the problem. I hate when we pinpoint just the color. It's fucking irritating, to be honest with you. It's very irritating because me growing up in the streets, being black, you feel me? I was very educated when I was out in them streets, and I tried not to do them things. I tried to get away from the gang culture. It's hard. It's real hard when you're young in them streets and trying to get away from it. It's like damn near impossible. Okay. Damn near impossible.
So I'm going to
not the black culture.
I'm going to continue to disagree with you, no matter how much I love you. So the statistic that I just pulled up in 2022, 80% of homicide victims in Chicago were black. Okay. 12% of the population in this country is black. 80% of the victims are black. Predominance, I don't know who's doing the killing.
I get what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree 100%. All I'm saying is we have to stop pushing that black people are the problem. That's what it sounds like when people talk about gang crimes and gangs and all this shit in Chicago. It's not just a black thing. It's a gang problem. It is a violence problem committed by all people. Yes, majority of them are black, but it's not the only thing. What about let's just, for argument's sake, let's say it's 1% white people. How come that 1% of white people isn't called out? Oh, well, it's not as bad as those 80% of niggas that's doing it. So it's okay. Oh, let's not call out how the percentage of Latinos that's doing it. It doesn't matter. Them niggas are doing it way more. This is bullshit. Let's attack the problem, which is the gang problem, the gang culture, the violence in the streets. Take the race out of it. That way we can attack the issue and not make people feel subjugated or ousted like they're the problem, because there's a lot of good black people that's in Chicago that aren't a part of gangs that get a bad rap because it's all they promote is black on black violence in Chicago. So they're automatically assumed, oh, this kid probably is a gangbanger because where he grew up. And it's not the case.
I understand what you're coming from and how you're saying it and why you're saying it. However, I have a difference in opinion, and sometimes in order to fix a problem, you have to recognize what the problem is. And with statistics, we constantly talk about facts, numbers, specifics. Statistics don't lie in this case. It is the predominance of gang violence involves black people. Yeah. Now, does that indemnify or does that only condemn black people? No, I'm condemning gang violence, but the gangs are run by black people. It's like Italians. Actually, perfect example. The mafia in Jersey, New York, Chicago, even predominantly Italian. But there's a percentage in that were Irish, that were Jewish, there was different groups that were part of the mafia in those areas. So who did we blame everything on? And rightfully so, the fucking Italians. The Italians ran the mobs. The black people for the minus, and I know you're a Latin king and you're black, but like the Latin kings have more Latinos than other groups. Let's look at the main statistic to get to the root of the problem. Now, do I want to throw around black on black crime because I dislike black people? No, I want to fix the problem. And until we acknowledge there's a problem, because for so long, it's such a taboo to say black on black crime. And you're kind of perpetuating that it's taboo right now, when I think it's important to say black people are not being killed by white cops. Black people are not being killed by white people.
Only a black on black problem in Chicago. Yes, the majority is, but the issue isn't that it's black problem or black people committing crime. It's the issue of the gang culture is alive and well in Chicago. The gang culture is the problem, not black people. Because when people have the opportunity to thrive, they will. It's proven in Chicago. When they have them certain schools where kids can go to and get away from there, and it's hard, they still got to deal with the community, but they have a better chance when they go to this school and they thrive. Just like in Gary, Indiana, they created that charter school out there in Gary where all of Gary is fucked. It is completely messed up in Gary, Indiana. But when these kids go to this school, statistically, they go to college, they end up working, but the school is very selective on who they take. So
I agree. No, I completely agree. But
my whole thing is, bro, it's not. I don't like talking about just the black on black thing. This is the problem why there's a divide. This is why some people will never listen to a conservative. They will never give a fuck what you say because you're a white guy. You know, that's the truth. You're a white guy that's never been there. You never grew up there. You never seen what it's like living there.
But so there was gangs in Las Vegas. There was gangs in Las Vegas. There was gangs in St. Louis.
Chicago. Chicago's a whole different breed, bro.
Okay, then let's drop Chicago then. Take Chicago out of the equation. Then I'm gonna have Casey weigh in. I'm talking big city crime, which is on the rise across the country, despite the statistics that the left will try to find a way to finagle and show you. Crime is rising. Gang violence is rising all over the country, and the predominance of the death is young black men. And if we don't acknowledge that is predominantly a black on black violence problem, we're ignoring the gigantic elephant in the room because we don't want to pigeonhole black people. I am not judging it being black people in general, but I'm saying, look, here's the problem. When the media is giving one narrative, just the way I talk about the whole, verbiage of genocide being incorrect, if we're giving the narrative on the media that white cops or any cops are killing black people at an alarming rate, which is factually false, or the fact that if one white kid kills a black guy, it's hate crime, and we ignore all the other stuff that's happening in this country. The one thing we can address and help is understanding that black on black crime or violence is the biggest killer of young black men, and it's at an alarming rate. That's the problem.
I got a question for you. Why did gangs start in Chicago in the first place?
I think it was Italians. The mafia started it.
No. Why did black gangs start in Chicago? Why did the Latin Kings start in Chicago? What was the purpose?
I don't know.
Because racist cops was going through the community, killing people, beating people, planting drugs on people. They were brutalizing people. This is why them gangs started. Okay. Now you advance, and now the gang gets corrupted by who? Who corrupted the gangs that were there for community out? They were there trying to protect their community. Who corrupted them gangs?
The police.
The system. The police, CIA, whatever you want to call it. They infiltrated them. So if we're going to blame anybody for the way that that black people are, because that's just the culture that they grew up in. This is the life that they live. If you're going to blame somebody, if we're going to do it, then why not blame the government for creating that? Because they were cleaning themselves up. Every single time somebody tried to clean themselves up, what happened? They infiltrate, they kill, they destroy. That's what they do.
It's no excuse for the behavior today. And Casey, I promise I'm going to let you go next. But I'm looking at the history. Like there's what you say sounds to be true, but just like we don't believe all of history, and like there's a legend that was passed down. The reason why our gang started, the reason why Latin King started. There's no real evidence that that's why the gang started, to be honest. And it doesn't. Where's the evidence of that?
Today. Gino is still alive today.
Who is?
Gino, the one that started the Latin Kings, is alive. He's in the feds right now. And he's telling them inside the prison what they need to do, that they've gotten out of control, that they shouldn't be killing each other. Blacks and browns shouldn't be having war, trying to make peace inside the prison. The founder, the one that started it the same way in the community, saying, look, we can't be doing this. Guess what they started doing? Selling drugs in the community. After he got locked up, they knocked him down. They start selling drugs in the community. The Blackstones, who were working, started selling drugs in the community. The Vice Lords, the GDs, all the Latin folks, everybody. They corrupted the culture the same way they did with the Black Panthers. They corrupted the culture.
I don't see them as together.
When anybody tried to come together to do something positive, look at what they did in Tulsa. The Tulsa riots, Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's another very good example. They came together, created black-owned everything to uplift the people out of poverty and keep the community tight, families and all of that. What they do? They destroyed the city and murdered people.
But that's not gangs.
The government.
They formed different things. Like I believe as though there's a motive to that story being told by one individual trying to, even if he's trying to help now, he's romanticizing how he started. And look, I think that it's a system issue. Gangs started to make money, sell drugs. They saw Italian mafia, Italian gangs. They said we could do the same thing. That to me is much more plausible than we started a gang.
But they were only doing what they were shown. If that's the case, they were only following the lead of the government, because drugs didn't come into this country on accident. The CIA was involved in cocaine coming across over here.
Agree. We agree.
This is a fact. This is when Papa Bush
I agree with all that.
CIA. You know what I'm saying? This is all a fact. This is the 80s.
We agree on that.
Yeah, I can't blame the government. Don't blame black on black crime. Blame the government.
I just did blame the government. I blame the government because of what happened in the 60s, 70s, and the fact that, all of a sudden single parent households and all this stuff. And fact is that culture lost the family unit. And this is what we talk about all the time. It lost the family unit, lost the nuclear family. There was no, they started arresting men with drug use and all this stuff. So then all of a sudden, all these kids had was a community of people that didn't know how to be raised. And then, yes, there's poverty brought on by the system 100%. And what do? It's
deeper than that. Think about this. All right. Redlining. What happened with redlining? Why did they call in Chicago the projects? Why did they name it that?
Because it was the way it was set up actually by the city planners.
No, it was a project.
Oh, project to bring them.
They brought in people. They moved them out of their homes. They used the eminent domain, took people's businesses, black-owned businesses, black-owned housing, and moved them into these projects and created chaos. They put drugs in the community one way in, one way out, put guns in the community. They created this problem that we see in Chicago. Yes, it comes down to people's
Cash,
individual
I was the
choice.
one that told you that. I was the first one to tell you that 4 years ago. I was the one that said, this is why all of that violence started. This is why the poverty started. We literally had these conversations and we agree on it now, but I'm not going to romanticize the starting point of gangs to say that they were there to just fight back against the police.
But you're wrong. That's
There's
your
no
opinion.
evidence.
I lived. They're alive. Larry Hoover Larry Hoover is the one that you could read his quotes, read the manifesto. Go look up the Latin Kings manifest, the first one. Look up the manifesto. Look up their own bylaws and constitutions. Look up the Blackstones bylaws and constitutions. The Blackstones are morphed out of the Moors, the Moorish movement under Noble Drew Ali. Noble Drew Ali was helping the community, keeping drugs. The whole point of a Moor or a Blackstone is to keep the nation pure. Keep the nation pure. That's it. No crime. Where we go by the United States Constitution. This is what they preached. This is what that gang started out from. You're not going to tell me because I live here. I know it. My family is Blackstones. I got family that's GDs. I used to be a Latin King. You're telling me what you think based off of your opinion. I'm telling you how I was raised and what I was taught.
But you were taught something that might not be 100% the accurate history because history gets changed based on who wants to tell it. Casey, I'd love for you to weigh in.
You're both right. Like Russo, I get what you're saying and you're pointing out. I'm going to also point out this is no different than focusing on the word genocide. Really, it's taking away from the whole situation. If we are going to really come around and start pointing at the whole system, it is government related. The government did have their hands in it. There was manipulation of the people. That is how you end up with this division. And that is exactly why they want these conversations to be happening this way, is because these conversations happen and some people start picking sides. And that is where the problem comes in. If we can start just focusing on where the division begins, and that is where Cash is pointing out, the government that infiltrated these problems, it wants that. They want that. And so both sides will start pointing fingers, and that is how they achieve this. It's a systematic thing that's been going on for centuries.
They're still doing it. They ain't slowed down yet. They're still doing it in Chicago. That's one of the main, bro. You remember when the riots was going on? All them bricks just ended up on the street, pallets of bricks.
That happened in Dallas, brother. Chicago, Denver, Omaha.
Brother, they put crates of guns. You can ask people from Chicago, bro. They found crates of guns in the alleyway, bro. Crates of guns. We're like, the hell? Where did these come from?
We agree.
Put them there? We're
agreeing on all of this stuff. I'm not disagreeing. The original argument is based off of a guy saying that, cops
He's not wrong.
Are the ones doing the 40 or not cops, feds, CIA, dark shadowy figures are the ones doing the actual murders in Chicago. Now, if you want to get philosophical the way that you are, that's possible, saying they're the ones doing this based on all of the chaos they're trying to create behind the scenes. Correct. But I still firmly believe the person holding the trigger in most of these cases is gang members. And if I'm saying gang members, 80% or more of this situation are of the black race, which leads to black on black crime.
And that's where you're not wrong, Russo. The problem is a lot of people,
You're laser focusing on that. That's part of the problem. You're saying.
But I wouldn't say he's laser focusing on it. On the problem.
I think what's happening is people hear black on black crime and it's a trigger moment for them that they stop listening and stop trying to even understand. And if that is where
they feel attacked instead of just saying the gang problem, the gang culture, man, that gang violence got to stop. You guys are just taught wrong. And when you say you guys, it's not speaking just to blacks, it's speaking to everyone that's a part of the gang culture. That's it. This is how we unify. Yes. This is how we get people together. This is how we get people to listen.
I agree. And I think we call out gang culture, but you had just the same way as I made the same analogy before, and I don't want to keep circling back. Italians were in charge of the gangs in New York, the bulk of them, even though there was other ethnicities. The Italians,
that was mobs, not gangs. There's a very big difference between mobs and
gangs. They were organized and allowed to do what they did.
And some mobs actually had morals. Some morals. Gangs have no morals.
That's not necessarily true. See, I'll disagree there. Like, I think there's a lot of people that are just trapped in the walls of the gang.
So where do you see mobs wanting to kill children and beat women? That wasn't a predominant culture thing within mobs.
Depending on the family.
Gangs.
No, that depends on the family.
Oh yeah,
But
they did some
most
sick
mobs,
shit.
you didn't really see a lot of that.
Yeah, I was just locked up with Frankie. You guys know who Frankie is from New York? I was with him in Tucson, Arizona.
Well,
I'm gonna share his documentary. All right, Frankie would tell you flat out, they will kill your kids, your woman, your grandma. Didn't matter, and he's part of a big family.
So I don't really consider the mobs today to be the mobs that I'm referencing.
No, I'm talking the mobs
like
in
50,
the 60s
70
and 70s.
years ago. Yeah.
50s.
Mobs back then, very different than today. The mobs today are gangs. They're the same thing. They bring the same culture.
Oh, I disagree. The
mobs
only today,
one race. Chaotic truth is really getting under my skin. I really want to cuss you out right now, but I'm not going to. Because that's the problem, bro. You would never be able to go to the hood and talk to nobody because your understanding is limited. You only see the problem of black people. You don't see the good. And that's the
not
issue.
True. He's just saying.
He been making some real crazy ass.
I've been watching. I get it, but like if you want to fix a problem, if you've got a cut on your arm and it doesn't speak for your whole arm, but you've got a bad cut, you have to call out the cut and actually treat the cut.
Listen, it's never what you say, it's how you say it. That statement could have been made like this: people refuse to admit the savagery that exists within our culture.
But that's not what we're talking about. It's actually black culture is a problem in many ways.
It's not the black race. That's my whole point. It's not the black race. When you put all the bad on the black race and you remove, you're basically saying that it's all black. Blacks are the problem because they're savages. That's how I read it. It's not something that would, if I was still me from like 10 years ago, I promise you, me and him would have had a problem. A big problem.
100%, but you're more understanding now of the fact that
and I understand how I would want to be talked to if I was going to listen to somebody who's trying to help me and get me to see my own flaws and my own problems.
So how would you talk
personal about my color, but about the way that I was raised? Not because I'm black, but because of where I live.
How would you talk to a black gang member right now?
Who, me? Same way that I do. The same way I do.
Exactly. So give me an example. Like, say you're talking to a bunch of black gang members. There's no Latinos, there's no whatever, but they just so happen to be you're in front of black gang members that five young black gang members. What do you say to them?
Just conversate, man. I just have the conversation. I just talk to them and let them know that they got other choices. That's it. Just like, man, you got other choices, bro. I used to be out here too. I used to be so-and-so over here off of 99th and Ewing. You know what I'm saying? And I changed everything up about me. I realized the scam of it all. I went to prison. You know, everybody told. I seen it. It's all bad, bro. There ain't nobody gonna look out for you. Nobody's gonna look out for you, for your family. Nobody really cares about you. They pretend they do out here because they get you to do their bidding. You got all these people out here that want to sell drugs and make you the fall guy. If you get caught, don't tell on me. But if I get caught, I'm gonna tell on you. It's all a scam. All the money that you can make working at McDonald's right now would be more money than you would make standing on this corner and then doing 10 years in prison.
Yeah, but I'm a black kid from Chicago. What else can I do in my life?
No, that's not how they would talk. Number one.
I know that, but they wouldn't sound like that. But there's shit like that. You can't tell me that people that are in the hood don't blame their lack of ability to get out of the hood on they don't blame it on their race. They do.
Well, yeah, they're conditioned to.
Which is why you have to say, look, do you want to be part of the black on black crime statistic? Do you want to be part of this statistic instead of gang violence statistic, which makes them
I'm gonna tell you what.
To fix a problem,
I'll tell you this. Before I got locked up, I was out in the streets all the time. You've seen my videos. I'll be out there talking with everybody. I go out there and have conversations with everybody. And I was with you. I had the young kids going to the church. I had pulled some of the young dudes out of the gang, the little Latins and blacks, pulled them out the gang and convinced them that there was something else for them. All they got to do is go back to school and apply themselves there. I got them to do that. I know how to get people out of gangs. That's what I do. When I'm in the moment, it's completely different. Right now, thinking about it, it's not a real situation. In a real live situation, and I'm out there, it just flows. God gives me the words, man, of what I'm gonna say to him.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? It's just different. Trying to explain it on here right now, it's harder because there's nobody here right now. You know what I'm saying? This is not a real life situation, but when I'm there and I see the reality and I could point them out, I could look at that abandoned building right there, bro. Or look at the little homie just died 2 blocks over. right over here. For what? Why did little Bobby just get killed over here? Because somebody bumped his car and his pride got in the way, and they looked at each other as opposition when we both live in the same community. Even he just was a different gang, and he killed little Bobby over a fender bender. Is that how you want to end up? Because it can happen. And I know you probably don't value it right now or even think about it, because I didn't either. I didn't think about it when I was out there. It wasn't even a thought in my mind. I was ready to die. But now I'm ready to live because I've made it past that. I've made it past that and seen all the good that could happen. I've seen all the places that's out there that you could go to. I got the family. I'm making money. I got a lot going for me right now, and you can do the exact same thing. And if you catch it now when you're young, because I got it late. If you could catch it now where you're young, you will be farther than where I am right now. When you get to my age, twice as better than me. Simple.
So psychologically, when you're talking to them, there's no need to bring up black on black crime. You're right. 100%. I don't think that I would go up to a bunch of black kids and be like, hey guys, let me tell you something. This whole black on black crime, it's an issue. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. But from a perspective of a narrative, to the point where we have to have a conversation. And I actually agree with Casey that the labels of the black on black crime is counterproductive the way that we're having the argument right now.
Yeah.
But to completely pretend as though it's just a gang problem and this is the rare occasion that if you don't include the color and the culture from the color that is more associated with it, you can't fix the problem. And I think Casey was very far off on gangs in terms of the mafia. The mafia was a gang that's now more of a business where they do shitty crime on the down low. But back in the 60s and 70s and 50s, they would kill anything if it needed to be. My dad was in the mafia. I understand the way things were then. It was an ugly, shitty, and also infiltrated by three-letter agencies. Not going to say that our government is still to blame for the bulk of this, the way that they treated black communities, redlining, putting people, all that. I agree. But today, until we address parts of black culture that lead to black on black crime and pretend like that's not an issue or a dirty word, you will not fix it, because people that make decisions in local government, in local societies, people that go to the voting booth, people that continue to say like, well, you can't say that, that's racist. Those people are going to continue to vote ultra liberal. They're going to continue to say we don't need to fund police. They're going to continue to say all these things. That side effect is actually more black death.
Well, I'll tell you this. Like I said, until you come out here to Chicago and you see it for yourself, people are waking up all over. You got people that are in the hood that are part of gangs that are saying, I'm voting for Trump. I've shared the videos. I just shared the one to Stephen A. Smith. People are waking up. Nobody wants, let me tell you something, Russo. Out here, they don't want to be in gangs. I did not want to be in a gang when I was a kid.
I know.
All right. I had to. They have to. It's not a choice until a choice presents itself. And when that choice presents itself, the ones who aren't super far gone make that right choice and they try to get out. That's the whole goal for them, is to get out.
100%.
The ones that stay are the ones that are okay with misleading people and keeping them in that life because they're getting paid off of it. All they're trying to do is get the fuck out.
I agree. And that's what I said earlier. I said, you're trapped. You're trapped in the four walls of the gang. And I agree with that. Do we want to bring CT on, or do we move on to it?
No, I don't. I do not, because I'm liable to say some shit that I will regret, and I don't want to do that.
It could be a good exercise. I'm just kidding.
No,
we don't need to do it this week. We'll
You
bring him
have
on.
a conversation with him, man.
No, I don't want to have a conversation with him right now. It wouldn't be wise for neither one of us.
Fair enough.
I think this is I know people want us to move on, and we will. We're not going to talk about it, but I think it's an interesting topic because clearly there's a trigger for me as well, not just for you, because I've spoken hard on this because I think that ignoring the elephant in the room is the reason why it gets worse and worse. And I've had this same argument with Curtis back in the day as well, and we went into it. We went deep and deep and deep into this conversation. So I think it's interesting. CT can come on next week. We'll have CT come on next week once we get once we get Cash to microdose. Just kidding. He's not allowed to microdose. He's not allowed to do that. He would never do anything like that. But I think it's an interesting topic and a good exercise to realize that there is, we obviously can disagree on a topic, which is important.
All day.
All right.
It's like the term genocide.
Which let's go into that, because again, I think that the fact that there is now Jewish kids that are being told to stay home from Ivy League colleges is the actual side effect of using the term genocide. You've got pro-Hamas protesters in the United States of America literally chanting death to Jews in the street. Now, do these people, and this is why I really wanted Corey to be on, like, are these people, are they really that dumb, or are they or are they just being paid and programmed and told to say these things? Like the guy that literally on the street of America, freedom of speech, can say whatever you want, but he's like, October 7th isn't going to happen 10 more times, 20 more times, 30 more times. And everybody's expecting him to go, it's going to happen never again. Instead, he goes 10,000 more times, which 10,000 times 1,400, that's a lot of death. That's pretty much killing of all the Jews. Yeah. That's it. That's all of them. So I feel like that's, and if you want to do the juxtaposition of me talking about black on black crime, I'm trying to fix a problem. I'm acknowledging that there's a problem there. Whereas this side, when you do genocide, you're creating a problem. And maybe Cash feels different than when I say black on black crime. I heard why he said that it creates a problem, but I think there's more to get into on that. But let's go into what's going on college campuses and how abso-fucking-lutely insane this is.
Yeah, it is pretty messed up. It's pretty
Why
bad.
is it messed up?
I mean, well, on one end, you have Jewish kids getting locked in a room, with their lives being threatened, while it's okay for them same people that are okay with doing that, they're okay to say whatever they want outside on the lawn and protest and really call for genocide of a whole nother people. When they chant that river to the sea, regardless of however people feel about it, that's all when they say that, that's promoting a genocide. That's what that's promoting. All right. And I know my Palestinian friends we get in heated arguments about that, but it's the truth. All right. You're calling for the extermination. You're calling for the extermination of a people so you can have what you propose to be your land back because of the corruption that's happened to you because of a corrupt government over there, which I understand. I get that the government is corrupt, but to call for the eradication of a whole people based off of their government, that's just flat out wrong. That would be the equivalent of Jews saying the same thing to Palestinians. Because you live under the corruption of Hamas, we need to exterminate all Palestinians. Both are wrong. But in America, you should not be free to threaten somebody's lives to the point where they're barricaded in a room crying and scared for their life, and the school be okay with it and really fund, because they fund and okay these rallies or these protests. They fund and okay them. And you even have teachers. This is what really gets me. You even have teachers out there with the students promoting it, chanting the same things, teaching these things in schools. So school isn't really school anymore. School is really just an indoctrination camp for leftist ideology.
I was literally, if you weren't going to say anything, I was going to say an indoctrination camp. So yeah, it's what it is. And it's
Twinkies.
Yeah.
Jinx. The problem that you're not mentioning, and you love this platform, it's TikTok that's driving this methodology that no one wants to talk about. Like, we keep bringing up, like, Savage is in there saying it's Islam, and I don't disagree in a lot of ways, but a lot of this ideology is coming from TikTok and brainwashing of our youth in America because of this stupid app. And that is where people are like, oh, it's free speech. Like, I get free speech, but you are handing over control and manipulation of our youth to the Chinese Communist Party. That is where a lot of this is coming from. And so when we look at a lot of these situations, we have to make sure we cover all of our bases. We just went over the government infiltrates and tries to get their own way to manipulate people and do what they want, right? But we don't recognize in a lot of ways some of these things that are being done because we personally love this app on our phone, or we feel this loyalty to this sports team or this athlete. And we have to start realizing you can disagree with some things. And when it comes down to TikTok, that is a dangerous app that is pushing these narratives. We haven't seen stuff like this before.
So it might actually get banned. So do you want it banned again? I mean, we had the show with Bobby Sauce.
I need to find the freaking bill. Like, I can't get the bill number. Yes, that's what I've been.
I can't see what you're explaining out of TikTok is the reason why it should not be banned. My only issue is with the Chinese ownership. Yeah, why it should not, because that's freedom of speech. We cannot. That is opening the door to absolute information tyranny.
Where does China have freedom of speech? Where does China have freedom of speech?
They don't.
Okay, so why are you worried about Chinese app in America?
No, I'm worried about the fact that they have control of our data. That's it. Not the algorithm. If they want to fuck with the algorithm, unfortunately, that is still free will and the freedom of choice. Now, the problem we have with these conversations is this is where it goes. I don't think Islam should get out of the country. But the thing is, this is a side effect of
radicalization of religion. That's the side effect. It's radicals. Islam in its pure state, if you were really practicing Islam, you would not be okay with killing anybody that was not trying to take your life, just like in the Bible, thou shalt not murder. But if somebody attacks you, you have every right to defend yourself. All right. It's the same exact thing. Now, people have a skewed image of Islam because of, how we portray it in the West. We always see terrorists and, and boom, they blow up, that kind of thing. I get it. I understand. But that is not Islam. That is not real Islam. Or if you want to switch it over, you have the Sunni, you got the Shiite, you got the Moors, you got all different types of Islam. You know what I'm saying? And depending on which Islam you follow, which sect of Islam, just like there's a bunch of different branches of Christianity, depending on which one you follow is going to dictate how your ideology is. So I disagree with saying that it's Islam that's the problem. It's just the understanding of Islam that's the problem in the minds of extremist.
Sounds like that's a rhyme. Islam, what's the problem? No. So
you're white.
I'm from Chicago, motherfucker. I'm kidding. I'm not. Let's see.
Yeah, I did too, bro. I read it too. Every day when I was locked up. I know it front and back too. I get it.
Now, he brought up the scholars. So there's the Quran, which you and I have talked about, not at length, but a decent amount. And you explained a lot to me and taught me a lot. But there's also the book, was it the Book of Abraham? The other part that is a little bit more radicalized.
Now you're talking about the hadith.
Okay. That's different. That's very radical.
It depends on how you interpret it. There are some very radical hadith, you know what I'm saying? But this is where people get the misconceptions at. Now, a Sunni Muslim follows all the authenticated hadith. So they could get pretty wild. Like literally in prison, they were giving people 80 lashes. They were holding brothers, grabbing the towel, making it wet and beating them, giving them 80 lashes because they took it serious. They took it all the way like this is what we have to do. Whereas on the other side, the Moors, they're like, no, we're Muslim by definition. We're Muslim in the sense, and we practice Islam because Islam means peace, but we don't necessarily go by the whole Quran. We have this over here. We believe in the Bible. We believe in the Quran. We believe in all the holy scriptures, all the different holy scriptures. We believe in them all, but we are not radical. We believe in peace. We believe in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's what the principles are that they stand on. Those are Moors. Some of the Moors are Muslim, but they go by love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So it just depends. It just depends on how you perceive Islam. That's it.
This is actually a great statement. I agree with this. So I was literally about to say that. I'm like, the Bible is much more tame, I think, in many ways, than most of Muslim and that culture, the religion. However, there's some if we to the T followed the Bible, there's some pretty violent shit and things. I mean, it's it's not perfect. John, thank you. And I forgot to thank Kim earlier. I just put it up. Kim, love you as always. John, thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, John.
All right, real quick. I want to go through. We're not going to get to all the topics today. You didn't, Casey, do you want to weigh in real quick on what's going on crazy college campuses?
No, they're just freaking brainwashed people that use a TikTok app. I already weighed in.
Got it. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did. We talked about TikTok Anonymous. You give them all the easy ones. Okay. TikTok. Let's see. I'm looking at a couple. Okay, so I have to go over this. So there's this girl that worked in the industry that I worked in that I saw her post this thing from Jon Stewart. Ah, shit. I hate when you do this because God knows you could do this with more Biden voters than Trump voters, but regardless, they're both the crazy. When you've got the crazies, you've got the crazies. And there's a post from Jon Stewart showing a bunch that they videoed the dumbest of the white trash dumb Trump voters saying that if he, and they're legit too, if he killed somebody on the lawn, I'd still follow him. And like they managed to get some idiots to say this stuff. And this girl posted, her actual post said, because it's important, and somehow it got, well, she's a influencer, so it got like 12,000 views. I think she took down the actual description. Interesting. So she took down her description, but I made a statement. I said, if you're a few moronic loons doesn't represent the bulk of the conservative or Trump voters. But what I will tell you is the massive Biden voting base believes drivel like this, speaking for the whole of conservative voters. I said, who is the actual moron in this picture? The easily manipulated fool that believes words from a once talented, now left-wing hack telling you how to think. Now that's ignorance. So we kind of went back and forth, but there is a paragraph that she wrote that literally encompasses a leftist viewpoint in such a dangerous way. And when I had one conversation with this girl 5 years ago, I remembered getting into politics and her telling me she wasn't overly educated on politics and like she didn't know, but I knew she was liberal. She says, talks about fairy tales. That is the separation between church and state on the right. I personally think that the Bible is a fairy tale. You're free to think that in the United States. I don't think it should set standards into law, which I had already told her. I go, in terms of the pro-choice, pro-life, I understand how it's tied to religion, and that's why there's some issues with it. Did you know this is where this is where there is no actual individual thought? Did you know that there are more intersex people than there are Jewish individuals alive today? A lot of people consider intersex people as anomalies, yet we don't refer to Jewish individuals as anomalies. Comparing these two, which, by the way, it's factually incorrect. About 170 million people are born with traits that don't neatly fit into male or female categories. It's actually false. There was one study that one person showed that was actually completely slammed, including by NIH, PubMed. All of these leftist publications even said this is completely wrong, which around the same number as redheads in the world. I encourage you to look into the genetic coding beyond just XX and XY chromosomes. Gender and gender expression are personal, and it's important to respect that diversity. I love all people, but I'm not going to respect mental illness. Now, although I don't recall meeting you, good for her, I'm close with many Trump voters. It's important to consider the impact of political choices and how they affect others. Posting things like this is supposed to show how people in every other country think of Trump and his supporters. If you don't realize that by condoning Trump, you are condoning these people. So because I vote for Trump, I'm condoning morons. Think the same if you were to think about that from the left. Like, oh, if you vote for Biden, then you're condoning the drag story. You're condoning, you know what? Minor attracted people historically lean much further left than right. Let's just be very clear. Anyways, Republicans, by voting for Trump, you're taking away choices from women. That's maybe a little bit more accurate. Republican states have made that very clear. Okay, I'm not going to disagree on that one. As far as freedom of speech is concerned, and we're almost done, the Republican Party just took the power to protest away from the people. Clearly, she heard this from a friend that told from a friend that heard from a friend. Took the power of protest away from the people in Tennessee, Texas, and Missouri. She thinks, because something told her, that protesting is not allowed in these states because of Republican leadership. Completely false. 100% categorically false. Anyways, I'm not sure how the left is against free speech. Is she fucking serious? Against abuse or bullying, 100%. But anyone who has experience with children would understand how badly words can hurt humans. I hate how fucking soft our fucking idiot far left has become. I'm getting angry.
Sorry, Nancy.
What's that? Sorry, Nancy.
Nancy.
At the end of the day, showing compassion and understanding towards others is essential. That's convenient because clearly she's not showing any compassion to anybody that has a conservative viewpoint that actually respects all the people she's talking about, but it is a mental illness. It's about recognizing the value of each individual's feelings and mental well-being. Everyone deserves respect and opportunity of truth. It says she was not always whatever. Oh, now I value democracy and believe in the primacy of love and understanding if they fall into your categories. And she thinks that we're getting rid of democracy. By the way, the only fact I want to make sure I say is the intersex thing was proclaimed by, what was this person's name? Ann Sterling, that 1.7% showed potential intersex traits. However, every other data set that has been studied since and before is 100 times lower. 0.018% actually have intersex traits, but she reads one document that's been disproven and slammed by the whole medical community, and she displays it as fact. Okay, that's it. That is everything wrong with the left right there. I'm done.
That was just, yeah.
Needless to say, I got into a tiff back and forth, but
yeah, I see. Looked like you had fun. Did it stress you out just a little bit?
A little bit. I stretched myself out a little bit.
I think you get a little excited about that because you had it happen on Truth, and then on the page with Truth, you had all of those people go nuts.
Oh, I know that one.
And now you go into that one.
Well, this one was my own doing. The other one was just psychopathic people. But no, I'm like, it was the Native American faithful that
That was funny. I didn't comment. I went and looked, bro. Oh,
it was hilarious.
My God. Oh, I laughed, bro. I literally was cracking up. I had tears in my eyes. I'm like, oh, this is the best thread ever on Facebook.
My nephew wouldn't do that. And it's like,
this is great.
Your
nephew? You know what's funny though? They talked about the Keystone Pipeline, and they're like, it's still up and running, blah, 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 blah. And then later on, like 2 hours later, 172 comments later, they gave the whole like, that pipeline was killing the animals, and it was, our native lands. So I thought you said it was still run. You still were built, but that now you're saying why it was stopped. You can't be this stupid. But needless to say, I corrected everything with the factual stuff, including the protests are still allowed in these places, by the way, if you're wondering. They're still completely allowed. Now they made a law that they can arrest if it could turn into a violent riot. So that, and you know what, that could be that there could be gray area. It's probably imperfect, but you're still allowed to protest, you dumb fucking moron.
Tell us how you really feel.
All right.
You both are triggered today.
No, not triggered. It was just heated discussion, which is okay. That's good. That's healthy.
I wanted to go black on black on her, if you know what I mean, Cash.
Oh, Jesus.
I can't. God, why did you send me stupid friends?
Just be blessed that you got friends, for God's sake.
Yeah, facts. I love you guys. I wouldn't change you for nothing, man.
Real quick, guys, before we still have one other thing to talk about. Also, I forgot to mention this. I want to mention this in the beginning. So tomorrow night is my Cash. Are you gonna make it this time, or are you gonna leave?
Yeah, no, I'll be there.
Are you gonna actually give him the link, or? Because he texted me. He's like, "Hey, do you have the link?" And I went, "No."
You have to actually go through you have to fill out.
I didn't know. I just came home from prison. What is technology?
Exactly. He can't get an ID. He doesn't know how to use the internet.
I can't get an ID because they're racist.
He can't properly pronounce ask. Anyways, doubledownspeaking.com. I'm doing a free Wednesday webinar. We had some people from last week. Tony, I saw you watching earlier. If you're watching now, congratulations on the promotion. I'm going to take full credit. She got a promotion because of me. No other reason. No help from whatever.
That's awesome.
So anyways, I'm kidding. I think she was already going to get it anyways, but part of it is there's the option to actually do a 30-minute one-on-one. There's only 20 people that I'm allowing in each week's class. Go to doubledownspeaking.com, fill out your information. You get a free 7 tips and tricks of speaking, and I give a full speaking free webinar tomorrow night. Hopefully I will see 20 people there. We've already got about 3 people signed up, so make sure you do that.
I'll show up, so I'll bring all 5 personalities. We'll help fill this.
Gotcha. I'm gonna bring myself and Old Cash. I'm gonna go there.
I'm going to learn how to speak, and I'm going to ask you one question. All right.
Look, I got to ask you one thing, son. One thing. All right. I need to know one thing, son.
One thing.
You're Asian now?
I don't know. I still got to make this Grid Down Chowdown food. Go to griddownchowdown.com/truth. 15% off. We have had a couple people, by a couple, I think we've had like 2 people order it. But I need to make a video. Cash needs to make a video, even though he's not eating meat right now because Bidenflation, that's a problem. Even though he was trying to eat a bunch of meat, but now we got to be cost effective. Let's be very clear. Griddownchowdown.com/truth, or just use truth at checkout for 15% off. Check that out. And last but not least, Cash, get your empty hand ready. Go to centuryh2o.com. Use Russo10 for 10% off at checkout. It's the only water I drink.
Water so clear you can't even see it.
There it is. Get those filtered front of your sink. Now that Kelly posted about it, people are actually buying them. So they even have somebody bought a whole house thing. So make sure you use Russo 10 actually. Here's the deal. As of today, I think tomorrow they're still doing tax 15 for 15% off. They can't track it because they've got a system that needs to get fixed. If you buy one, please send the receipt over to support the show. So you get 15% off right now if you use tax 15. But please, please, please let us know that you bought it, or put it in the comments and send it to us. That's it. That's all I got. Final words. What?
Get the water.
Get the water. Get the water.
It
really is really good. It's really good. Casey, final words.
Don't trust the government. They don't care about you. They just want your
Facts.
money and your time.
Big facts.
Facts. And I'm gonna have a new T-shirt that I'm gonna be wearing next week. Pretty excited about that. I'm not gonna tell you.
When do I get to create a damn T-shirt?
Then tell me what you want me to create.
No.
I don't know. I just want to know if I can.
Yes, you can. I just need the time. It takes me an hour.
I ain't
Well,
gonna ask
Cash,
you again.
how about you just design your own T-shirt and you send me the PNG?
Or
whatever that means. Gotcha. Cool. I'm gonna send it to you just like that.
you know what PNG stands for on the hood? Pretty Ninja Girls, if you know what I mean.
Jesus.
It's a paninga.
Paninga. Casey, do me a favor. Go ahead and get the Zoom link. Are we putting the Zoom link up in here?
Yeah, we need to do that.
Yeah, we didn't have any trolls. If you can find the Zoom link, put it in the comments. Cash, give your final words, and then we will take us home.
Well,
Amanda's
I hope
Zoom
everybody...
or yours?
Amanda's Zoom tonight.
Okay.
I believe.
I hope so.
Yeah, I told her. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's out there watching. I appreciate you for tuning in. This was a good show. This was really, really a good show. It inspired my next live that I'm gonna do, which is gonna be tonight. You can definitely believe that. Chaotic, salute to you too, my brother. I get a little inside myself sometimes. I still have some of my ways that I'm working on. I did good though. I did good.
He knew he knew your limitations, and it wasn't the right time to bring him on.
Nothing personal against you, Chaotic. I love you to death. You're my brother. Respect your opinion. Don't like it, but I respect it. And yeah, man, I appreciate all of you guys that are watching right now. If you haven't already, hit that like button for us. Please hit the like button right now and share this thing out so we can break the algorithm and get our following back going right. All right. And please come to the Zoom tonight if you're interested in learning about shopping America. All right. Lock arms with us. Let's build this brand. We can't do it without you all. All right. I need you.
And if you like the gear they're wearing, go to awakenotwokestore.com. Use truth for 20% off. There's a whole bunch. There might be a new one. You might be able to see it. It's already up, but I'm not going to talk about it till next week. Go ahead and check that out. We're going to do more T-shirts. We're going to get some new, fresh stuff going.
We got to bring the one Unite Don't Fight shirt. You just traded that. I need that PNG. You have it.
Okay. So the Unite Don't Fight will be up. I'll get that before next week.
Need that on a hat too, sucker.
Hats are hard because I have to spend like $600 up front on hats.
Well, then spend the money, Russo.
Okay, well,
spend the money. Be like Congress. Spend the money.
That comes out of your kids' mouths. All right. So, guys, I hope to see you guys tomorrow night on the on my free webinar. But tonight, if you want to join Cash, Casey, and I, where we talk about how to shop American, we have a little jokes, we have a little bit of fun. It's not just some stale like, hi. Let me show you how. No,
we're going to have right now. You want to be a patriot and shop American?
It's nothing like that.
It's not at all. So join us. It's a little bit more fun than if Amanda's watching. Way more fun than when Amanda used to present. Anyways, love you, Amanda. Just kidding. All right. I mean, I do love you, but that sounded really bad. I didn't mean it. Like I didn't mean to talk. I'm glad I'm teaching a speaking class. Cash, take us home.
All right. Unite. Don't fight. Be a street light, because only you could be the change you wish to see in the world. And when you get too stressed out, you got to remember to pray, America, because without God, everything falls apart. And that's a fact.
Woo! Yeah, brother.
Whoa.
I think did he just take a shit?
Yeah.
God,
He just
I'll be right
Joe
back.
Biden himself.
He just
Sharded.
pooped.
Sharded.
You just shipped your pants.
Yep.
I just shit my pants.
Yep. Got a bad case of mud butt going on right now.
God, too bad Laylee is not around.
That's horrible.
Do you think that the guys liked it when had mud butt?
Oh yes, I loved it so much.
It's so lubed up.
Oh my god, oily.
Oh.